Welcome to Beyond the Hologram. My name is Sol, and in this video I'll be talking about repeating numbers and what they actually mean. So stick around. Welcome back. So if you are watching this video, you've probably been seeing a lot of repeating numbers and you started noticing them. I started noticing repeating numbers for about probably over 15 years. When I noticed that every time I look at every time I look at anything that carries a number on it, I would see the number 43 or 44. And at first, I didn't really give it much thought. It was just like, oh, okay. But after a while, it just kept happening in such such high frequencies that I had to really pay attention to it. And every time I look at the clock, and every time I look at the time, it'll be either on a 43rd or 44th minute, and over time, I would even catch the 43 or 44th second, which you got to admit it's a bit more than a fluke. Can't be that every time I get an urge to look at the time, you'll be on the 43 or 44th minute. There's something that comes up once an hour, so it's not like something that you can say, well, the chances of this happening is quite high. So I wouldn't really make anything of it. But over a period of time, over the last 15 years, it just kept coming up in all sorts of situations that every time it would just make me go, whoa, this is crazy. Like every time I look at anything that carries a number, it would just happen to be the number 43 or 44. Why would I look at it? Why would I look at that particular number and that particular time? I can be wandering into space, or I can just walking around somewhere and just have an urge to look at something, whether it's a billboard or number plate of a car that just drove past. And I don't really look at number plates. That's the thing. I can, when the car would drive past that carries the number 43 or 44, I would get an urge to look at it. It's not that I see it or I look for it. It's just that I happen to look at the number plate of that car, or video timestamps and timers, and only before, I was cooking something in the microwave, and I was just looking to see how much time was left, and it was 43 minutes and 44 seconds. So again, this is not a coincidence. There's a reason why you get the urge to look in a certain direction and look at certain something. This is an intuitive call. This is an intuitive message. Now, in my experience over time, I've noticed that there's two types or two groups of repeating numbers. There is, and just for distinction's sake, I call one group confirmation numbers, and the other group I will call guiding numbers. And I'll explain the difference. The confirmation numbers, from my understanding and years of observation, are the numbers that confirm to you that you are where you need to be, that you are on the right path, the right track, and because life can be chaotic sometimes, and you can sometimes lose track of what's happening, or we can have a long lull periods, or things that like periods where we feel uncertainty or doubt or things like that in life, and not much really is happening. We sometimes wonder whether we actually where we need to be, or whether we are in the flow or not, or whether we're just roaming around lost and aimlessly with no direction. So these numbers were meant to give you an indication that yes, you are on the right path and you are where you need to be, even though you can't really see further behind the veil. It's telling you that yes, just keep going and keep doing what you're doing, and you're in the flow, you in alignment with your path, and what's supposed to happen in your life right now, and what is happening in your life right now is what needs to happen. So that's what I call a confirmation number. The other group is the guiding numbers, and these are the numbers that I've noticed that have some kind of a universal meaning. And sometimes you can go and check the meaning of the numbers and see what that particular set of numbers mean, and it'll give you some kind of some sort of indication on the message or the guidance that you are receiving. And I've noticed that guiding numbers usually don't stick around for too long. It's like they're meant to give you an answer to a particular question or particular dilemma that you're having, and until you get it, there's no point in keep sending you the numbers after the event sort of had passed, and you've already got your answer or made a decision or did something about it. So in my experience, for example, you might have a question or a dilemma. So you send the question out to the universe, and if you are someone that notices numbers, and that's the important part, you need to know that we do get that kind of guidance and be aware of it. Because if you look at any number and you just dismiss it and you think, I just happen to look at a number, it's not a big deal, then you're missing the point. It's something that you need to be aware of. So say for example, you want to know whether you want to move in with your girlfriend, or whether a family member can move in with you, or something to do with cohabitation or partnership or things like that, or whether business partnership or life partnership or things, the questions that you may have doubts about. And you can send this question out, and if you're noticing numbers, then you might start noticing the number 69. And 69 has a universal meaning, which is the yin and yang. It's the meaning of harmony and the like. So if you notice numbers at the time that you're having this dilemma and you keep seeing 69, for example, that that you are getting some kind of confirmation to your question. Now, in my experience, these numbers would come up over a short period of time, but at high frequencies, so as to make you distinct between just looking at the number, or that you get that that number has a certain meaning for you. So say if you ask that question about whether to move in with your girlfriend or partnership or whatever, and you notice the number 69, and you know that the meaning of 69 is harmony, the yin and yang, then pay attention to see whether the 69 will come up again after a short period of time. Whether it's 3 or 4 times in the same day, or 3 or 4 times in the same 24 hours or 48 hours, and then that this is that has a meaning. And for that, you need to know the universal meaning of these numbers. You may not know the universal meaning of the numbers, but if you notice that you are, getting a certain set of numbers over a short period of, many times or few times over a short period of time, then you can go and look it up and see what it means. Once you made a decision and you got the message, the 69, for example, will stop showing up, because there's no point in keep showing you that number. You've already got an answer to your conundrum. The confirmation numbers, on the other hand, will continue coming up over many, many years and many, many times a day. And the reason I separate them is because, take my case, for example, number 43 and 44, which, if you look at the meaning of it, it means, you're supported by the angels, and the angels are with you and stuff like that. And I know that everybody is supported by the angels. Everybody that knows about the support that they're getting from the ether, whether it's angelic beings or the universe in general, or whatever you call it. That doesn't mean if they don't get the number 43 and 44, that doesn't mean that they're not supported by the angels. So that's why I've been seeing those numbers for 15 years, and it can't be that the same meaning will just carry through over 15 years, because I've already got the message and I know that I'm supported and that I'm guided like everybody else, you know. But I've also noticed that at times of limbo, or when I'm having some kind of some sort of uncertainties or things about the future or where I'm at, the numbers will show up, at higher frequencies. Like they'll be quite frequent. I'm talking about 10, 20 times a day. Every time I look at anything that carries a number, it'll just happen to click over to 43, 44. I catch the 44 seconds, every time I look at a digital clock. And it's almost like these numbers are chasing me. And, there's always a sense of a fuzzy, warm feeling that, you feel that support from the universe, when you see these numbers, and you develop a certain connection to them. And it's similar to, driving on a long desert road, and you drive and drive and drive and drive for a long time, and you don't see a sign, and after a while you wonder, am I on the right road? Like, am I heading in the right direction? When you all of a sudden see that, that green road sign that carries the name of the town and the number of kilometers to the town, and you get that cool, confirmation. Yes, you are on the right road. Keep going. It's similar to that. Life gives you those green signs all the time, through those repeating numbers that that you keep seeing over long periods of time. So this is why I separate the two, because they have a different, in my experience at least, they have a different job to do. One is to keep telling you that you're on the right path, you're in alignment, trust your journey, trust the process, even though you can't see what's happening, just keep going. And the other ones are giving you particular answers to things. So see how you go with it, and pay attention to see whether the same set of numbers come up over a long period of time. And this is like the numbers that your higher self will use, because now it knows that you are noticing these numbers, and it'll keep sending these numbers to you, because it knows that you'll notice them and make something of it, and not just brush it off as a coincidence. And they're really comforting signs that you'll see will help you at times where you're really feeling uncertainty, that to the point of anxiety and just distrust in where you're going and what you're doing in life. And you'll notice that when you're like that, these numbers will come up more often, almost like a hug from the universe, because it's just, you need to see it more and more, because you're at a time of uncertainty, and that's just a really great help. So I hope this makes sense, and I hope this I hope this helps you understand the repeating numbers. Keep noticing them. They're a great way of communicating with the universe. Great fun way. Just notice the way they come up. It's just it's just beyond magic, and it always puts a smile on my face, just like a little wink. Thanks for that. And just know that you're always supported, and the universe is always behind you, even if you can't see any results, or even if you feel like you're not heading in any direction. Just know that the river of your life is always flowing. Sometimes it flows fast and there's rapids, and sometimes it flows really slow, but nonetheless it's moving, and everything has its timing and divine timing. And when something needs to unravel, then it will happen. But meanwhile, you are getting these numbers just to encourage you to carry on. You're in alignment. You are where you need to be. You are on the right path. Just keep going. There are also many ways the universe communicates with you, and through many synchronicities and different synchronicities, which I'll explain and talk about in later videos. But for now, hopefully this helped you, and if you like these kind of videos, please subscribe, please hit the notification button, share and comment. I'd like to hear your stories about repeating numbers and how you see them. And until next time, take care.